first went to school in England and wanted to go more international. I went to do a business studies course, which was a new thing in the UK at the time, for my Bachelor of Arts degree. The third year I spent out working for The Economist magazine. The Economist was pushing the UK to get into Europe at that time, and it seemed something which I really wanted to do. So I went around Europe trying to sell student subscriptions of The Economist and picking the prettiest student representative in each university to be my rep, which was great training. I came back and did my fourth year at college at a university, which was Middlesex University, and decided real estate was what I wanted to do. I went to Jones Lang, Wootton, which was the precursor, well, was before Jones Lang LaSalle happened. And they were the biggest international real estate advisor in the UK/Europe. They asked me to write a report to see if we should open an office in the US, and also what would happen with the Channel Tunnel to our international business. I was then seconded to Brussels to lease a couple of problem properties in Brussels, which were bank buildings. Managed to do that very successfully. They said, this guy is a threat, so they sent me to Antwerp to open the office in Antwerp, which is a Flemish-speaking part of Belgium as opposed to the French-speaking part of Belgium. Realized they needed Flemish staff. Went to Paris. I was lucky enough to get a job in Paris for a company called Hampton & Sons. I spoke French, and living in France for 3 years was wonderful. I was 23. I was made a partner. I ran the office full of 8 French negotiators, and we were one of probably the third or fourth biggest real estate agent/advisor in Paris. Wonderful experience. Realized that the Paris property market was 3 years down. Sorry, 3 years up and 9 years down. So decided I can't be in this the whole time. I need to go to America. Some of the investors I'm working with are interested in going. There haven't been many investments, if any, in the US at that time. So I was lucky enough to be accepted at the top business school in Europe, which is called INSEAD, Institut Supérieur d'Éducation et Administration, in Fontainebleau. It's a trilingual MBA, which I did, and then came to the US in 1977. I came over to the States in 77. I was headhunted from INSEAD by Goldman Sachs. I turned them down. Yeah, starting in real estate and turning down Goldman Sachs in 77 before the big rise, yes. A few mistakes in one's life, but that's fine. I wanted to make work for an American real estate company. Goldman Sachs weren't. I spent 3 months looking, was down to my last $500 before I found a job with Romanek Golub in Chicago. It was through a company called Rubloff who said, we don't do international real estate, it will never happen, but try Romanek Golub, they might just go for it. They are our biggest competitors. I told them I could introduce them to quite a few European investors. We did $600 million worth of investment in 3 years in America for European investors. So it was a great start. Having been born in Chicago, working back in Chicago was wonderful. And I got married to an English girl when I was there, and in 1979, 31 years ago. And it was 3 very happy years in Chicago. But all the deals we were doing were in Washington. And there is a reason for that. Washington is the only city in America that has a height limitation. So you've got a very confined market, which appealed to Europeans. So I was coming to Washington practically every week. So my wife said, let's move there. And that's what we did. I was lucky enough to be elected world president of the International Real Estate Federation, which is the federation of all those people who do cross-border transactions from one country to another around the world, made up of 60 countries, 5,000 members. And I was elected world president, which I served for a year, back between 2007 and 2008. And I really enjoyed my year. I went to 35 countries. It was great fun. I pay for it myself. And I loved the going into different cultures, different real estate markets, and trying to understand what their markets are about, relating it to the one where I came from, Washington, D.C. Yes, when I started here, Chuck asked me to teach the international real estate class. I've done it elsewhere. I've done it at Johns Hopkins University the last 15 years. And Chuck gave me the great flexibility to take the class around the world in 36 hours of credit. And it's been a lot of fun. I get to bring in speakers from all over the world to come and talk about their real estate markets, where they've been, the transactions they've done, why they've gone to certain markets, what was the difference compared to being there than here. And it's been quite successful, so we're going to go one step beyond next year and concentrate on why people come and invest over in the United States, and then look at certain continental markets like Asia and China, like South America, Europe, Middle East, and Africa, and see why people want to go and invest there and what will happen. Let people come and tell their stories. And I think case studies of investments in a foreign country help the class understand the nuances of doing real estate in different markets. I've given my students $100 million to spend in a country of their choice. So we get great reports on how they've spent their money, and then they spend it $100 million back in the States from that country. So it's a lot of fun. They have to do a lot of research. The internet has increased that ability to get that research. They have to give a 12-minute presentation and written report. And it's been a lot of fun interacting with the students. We're lucky at Georgetown to recruit a great many students from overseas. And I think if they're going back home to have the international track and understand how real estate works in different countries is a huge advantage. For people who are based in the United States, I think by doing the international real estate track, you have the opportunity of learning how our whole real estate market in the States is affected by international advances. Some of the best architecture is from overseas. A lot of our major tenants are from overseas. The cultures that come into real estate and the need for housing all over the world is something we've all got to focus on. And by just staying within a track, a domestic track in the States, and not doing international, I think students will have lost the opportunity to take blinkers off and see the rest of the world and what's happening. I think if one could put a little away and always have a cushion, that's probably been the best advice I've received. There will be ups and downs. It's a cyclical industry, and we have to ride it out with patience and with a little money put away for those times that aren't going to be so good.